Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 3 here on Achillean Waste between Apollos' AK and yoeIMHas. This is a best of 5, and if everything is told to me correctly, it is now 2-1 in favor of AK. I know it is Game 3, but that is what is showing on the scoreboard now, and I wouldn't believe that they are setting this up incorrectly just to fool me, as they would be fooling me as a caster very, very well. Anyways, on the bottom right-hand side of the map, we have yoeIMHas spawning as the blue Protoss. Meanwhile, Apollos' AK spawning as the red Zerg. Zerg versus Protoss, and the games have been simply very, very good. I think this is the first time I've seen AK really kick it up a notch in the entire TESL, and it looks like he's playing at a much higher level than he was, say, just weeks ago at the start of the season. He's been expanding, he's been aggressive, he's been really coming into the game with very, very strong decision making. At the same time, Has seems to be slipping a little bit there in that category, but he did execute a very cute play, bringing in probes alongside a warp prism to warp in pylons and also photon cannons. That I thought that would have been the death of AK, having three or four photon cannons right on the ramp, in addition to force fields on the ramp. The main base was nearly lost. Losing that layer would have been an extreme setback, but that was not the case, as AK was able to hold it off. Now, here on Achillean Waste, the strategy has become 3 bases as well. Most players do expand straight up to the north and straight up to the south. We're going to see that already. AK setting up his natural expansion here at what I should believe to be the 2-minute 30-second mark. He's delaying a little bit. There you go, finally placing that down, perhaps a little bit mineral block. Meanwhile, we can see that Has is actually building very close to home, and this is the start of a Mothership Core fast expansion. Now, I still like the Mothership Core fast expansion. There are pros and cons to the Mothership Core fast expansion compared to the Forge fast expansion. One of the benefits of the Forge fast expansion is you can sneak in a probe behind the mineral lines here and here, place down a photon cannon or two in order to take out the hatchery, and then really hit a giant reset button on the Zerg. However, that does tend to put your own base a bit behind, and with that, you may not necessarily always want that to be the case. Let's see what will be the follow-up play. Are we going to spot a Mothership Core? I do believe so, but a Nexus will be placed down first, as Zerglings are already making their way out across the map. We should be seeing the Mothership Core. Yes, this is the standard strategy and the timing. The Mothership Core can take down an infinite number of Zerglings given an infinite amount of time without ever dying, since the Zerglings obviously cannot attack air, and the Mothership Core is an air unit. We are going to see those Zerglings now slip up the ramp here. The Mothership Core is going to get there with plenty of time, and now we're going to see the Zerglings trying to back off. Wait, no, the probe is now coming back around as the Zerglings realize what's happening. This probe is now on its way to scout, and this is going to be a little bit of a later scout, but all really Has needs to do is come up here, take a look here, make sure that there is a natural expansion, and then also see if a third base is being taken. If a third base has yet to be taken, he knows that it isn't a very, very aggressive third base, and he can kind of guess what the builds will be still. You can see the probe now going to make its way up. The Queen is already there. Oh, the Queen going to get the shot off. There it goes, taking that down, and now we will be seeing a drone transferred over and building an additional base here at the 5-minute 20-second mark. This is actually really aggressive by AK. Normally, Zerg players do have that up and running around the 6-minute mark, cutting a few corners perhaps, or making sure to only get that gas a little bit later for that faster hatchery should pay off in spades now, as both sides are looking to set up strong economies. Stargate now coming in. It could be the Oracle. It could be Phoenixes. I rather like Oracle play. it doesn't really feel like a lot of Protoss players have figured out how to use that Oracle. It's a unit that that really should be focusing down workers, but a lot of Protoss players. I don't know how to say this, but a lot of Protoss players don't know how to focus fire with their air units. And it could be because that the majority of their air units can attack while moving, and that is the reason why they don't focus fire. Phoenixes, Void Rays, things, all of those nature can attack while moving. As we're going to see Zerglings now trying to come back in over here. The poor probe will get taken down. The Zealots not going to be able to do very much as the Zerglings are just going to take down this pylon. Meanwhile, we are going to see a bit of an engagement here. No time warp as of yet. We are perhaps going to see a recall as the Zealots are going after Zerglings. All right, Zealots going after Zerglings. This is going to be very, very key here as the Mothership Core going to take down take down a queen. There is a time warp there. That is a horrible time warp. It is not effective to time warp drones in order to lose a little bit of mining time. The majority of that mining time does come in from actually sitting on the minerals, and you can see that the queen is now trying to make its way over. The Mothership Core is going to get taken out. No, it is backing off just at the nick of time as more Zealots are coming in. This is not an effective play by HAS at all. You can take a look at the losses, 925 versus 900, and this was not the pressure that I was expecting. The Zealots will all get taken down here, but it did force AK to go for a heavy round of Zerglings instead of drones, and with that heavy round of Zerglings, that is going to put a little bit of a damper on the overall economy. Alright, this Oracle needs to get away. Not quite sure why it's just sitting around here. It's going to go after a queen. It does not do well against a queen at all. And HAS finally backing off that attack. 15 damage versus 15 damage, 25 damage versus light. You want to be hitting light units. You want to be hitting the drones. You want to be hitting just workers, and you want to make sure that you're attacking units that are directly underneath you. You want to make sure that the Oracle is not forced to actually give a little bit of a chase over and lose targeting. As we now see 32 drones compared to 41 probes. This is actually a good position. This is the best position we've seen HAS in. But it really feels like AK has been responding rather well. Roaches and Zerglings are still coming in. Let's take a look. This Mothership, or this Oracle, is still trying to do a little bit of a dance and darting around. You can see that the Oracle needs to stop in order to attack. It doesn't have that attack move feature that all of the other Protoss Stargate air units have. And I believe even the Mothership Core has, as we are now looking at the Oracle pulling back. We are now seeing Roaches and Zealots engaging in midfield. The Zerglings trying to take down this pylon, and it looks like the Zerglings just want to stop this pylon from reinforcing any more units and then retreat back home. We are going into Void Rays now. That will be very effective, but AK once again will know about this, as the Void Ray, finally using that prismatic alignment, will focus down a couple of these Overlords, and AK going to be losing 2 Overlords rather quickly. A second Stargate now coming in, so a mass Stargate strategy could completely blindside AK, as Void Rays are extremely effective against Roaches. The front door right now, however, going to be handling and dealing with Zerglings. Zealots are here. There's the attack. The Zealot is holding position. There's a force field, as the Void Ray is going to be coming into position. Is it going to be enough? You can see another, oh no, pylon was taken down. No reinforcements, as the Zerglings have made their way through the sentries. Void Rays are going to get pushed back. Zerglings trying to make their way inside. It looks like they will be able to do exactly that, but a couple of Zealots already warping in, and these Zerglings will be forced to... Oh, are they going to take down a probe? It looks like they could very well take down a couple of probes here, as the Zerglings are still running around freely. Let's see, one probe does get taken down. Another probe looks like it could get taken down. Nope, the rest of the Zerglings have fallen, as Zerglings are now making their way inside. HAS was sleeping at the wheel, not paying attention to the fact that the Zerglings and the Roaches had run by rather easily. HAS does have this one Oracle off here. It does have 8 kills, but there is a Spore Crawler in position. Has to be extremely careful to stay out of range there, and it looks like it will find range on the far side here. Meanwhile, it is going to take a look, see that there is nothing here at the 4th base of the Zerg, as the Zealots and the Void Rays are looking to clear out this set of destructible rocks. Graviton beaming on a Zergling, down it goes. Perhaps a probe will make its way over, and also we need to see whether or not this rock tower will get taken down. Zealots are now making their way in. It looks as though the Zerglings want to get a good surround here on this Nexus. We may have a loss of 100 resources. Are we going to get cancelled? Yes, we will. The Zerglings now making their way in, taking down the probe as well, and getting inside. AK doing a good job delaying that expansion a little while longer, but what are we going to see to really take down all of these Void Rays? Well, Hydralisks, I hear, are good against Void Rays. Range of 6, also light, attacks very quickly, can shoot down and snipe down a Void Ray, especially when fighting over creep. If you're not on creep, the muscular augments will help, as well as we are now getting into the groove spines first, making sure to have even range against a Void Ray. Range of 6, weapon speed of 5. That is very, very heavy damage against armored units. I believe that's 30 damage a second if the unit only has 1 armor. And we are going to be seeing more and more. Hydralisks now making their way across the field. We still have yet to see a 3rd or 4th base coming in from AK, and this does concern me. With a 3rd base already coming in from HAS, a 4th base should be incoming from AK. We don't see that yet. And this might start to be the tipping point where HAS is able to, sure up his footing and take the lead here. He does need Colossus, though. You can see without Zealot Charge, without Colossi, he's not going to be able to come out very quickly. You can see, Graviton Beam now taking down a couple of these Hydralisks. And this is one of those signs where if you are able to pick off units, this is huge. A whole bunch of Hydralisks now taken down here in just a moment. The Zealots were able to turn around and take down more units as well. But the Phoenixes picking up those Hydralisks, that was actually a very smart and bold, very smart play to pick them up. It forces AK to either stop to protect that one Hydralisk in the air, and then perhaps risking all of his Hydralisks, or keep on moving and hoping that he doesn't continue to repeat that strategy. All right, Void Rays now looking to come over. You can see that the rocks are destructible off over here. They are getting pressured. The Zerglings have, I believe, no upgrades at all. We are still seeing at 0-0. Meanwhile, we are going into 1-0 upgrades, and we are also seeing the muscular augments and the pathogen glands. It looks as though infestors are in the near future. What is going on here? has not realized that the rocks are now down, and this could be bad. This entire base is pretty much ripe and open for the taking. The Zerglings could surround here and take down the Nexus in just a matter of seconds. In comes the attack now. There's the Guardian Shield. That is going to be very important, as many of the Hydralisks are in the backfield, unable to engage against anything except those Zealots. The Void Ray is going to be the major attack force here, as the Hydralisks are now picking probe after probe after probe. Void Rays now need to be careful. One Void Ray looks like it will get taken down. The rest of the units are now pulling back again. But the Harvester count is still 64 to 68. We are fairly even, as we are now looking at an expansion at the 8 o'clock location. The Phoenix is now coming in order to take down a couple of these Overlords. It looks like the Overlords will fall. And this is a little bit of a surprise play here, as another Overlord now coming in. And these Phoenixes are just getting free kills all across the map, as the Void Rays are looking to take down more units. HAS going to the skies and looking to perhaps take down and shut down bases. This is an extremely good strategy, as Void Rays with that prismatic alignment can take down a hatchery so quickly. There goes the drone as well, as the Roaches, Hydralisks, and Infestors are now trying to make their way over. Oh, this could be bad here. The Void Ray is going to perhaps take down a couple of these units. Oracles, Void Rays now going after Hydralisks. This is going to be bad play. Oh, Fungal Growth hits 3 of the Void Rays. Infested Terrans now being brought over. And what is this? The Infestors are armored units, and they should actually be going after the Hydralisks instead of the Oracle. Not quite sure. Or sorry, instead of the Infestors. That would have been the much smarter play, as we now see a line of Zealots moving in on the far side. Army sizes are about the same, HAS having a slight supply disadvantage. Zealots are now moving in here, as the Zealots just run straight through and hit a whole bunch of Zealots. Hit a whole bunch of Roaches and Hydralisks. That is not a good move at all, as there is still plenty of game to be played. Hydralisks, Infestors, roaches now making their rounds, and these infestors actually breaking from tradition and moving forward by themselves. This could actually be the horrible loss. No, Has does not spot them. These infestors were completely out of position. Could have been taken down by a handful of Colossus, but we did not see that. And that would have been just near certain death for AK. AK cannot afford to lose all of these infestors right now. The infestors with a good amount of energy, if you lose them, then that is just a large amount of gas to lose in just a moment. AK sitting on a good amount of minerals and gas. Heavy production now coming in. Void Rays, Colossus. Here we go. There's the engagement, and so many infestors and units taken down right there. Beautiful force fields, as we are now going to see the units perhaps try to come in from the backside. Now, one thing for AK has been very aggressive with his creep tumor field, and we now see the double expansion. Even if one of the bases go down, another will most likely fall, as we are looking at... Are we going to see a Graviton Beam on that Queen? No, we are not. We are just looking at a massive death ball of Protoss. You can see Void Rays, Colossus all in this, and would you please stop logging in and logging out? So many Colossus, Void Rays, Stalkers, Sentries, all making their rounds over here. Are they going to be able to find anything? And is there enough Sentries to perhaps corral and split the units apart? We're also going to see a transition into Vipers now from AK, and the Vipers are something that I've really been looking forward to seeing. Vipers will be able to pluck a Colossus and a Void Ray in a moment's notice and shoot them down. You can see that the weapons upgrade does heavily favor Has at this point, but at the same time, there is a significant supply and bank advantage for 8K. AK now running up on 4 bases compared to 5. The main bases have been mined out, so it is really just, I guess, 3 bases to 4 at this point. And what are we going to be seeing here? An observer is now making their way in. Zerglings trying to do a quick run-by. Will quickly find that that is a no-go. Plenty of photon cannons there to prevent any Zerglings from getting in free kills. Level 2 weapons upgrades also coming in. Level 3 ground upgrades. So those Colossus will be doing a lot of damage. You can see that the creep tumors are all getting pushed back. A larger group of Zerglings now trying to make their way in. But where are they going to go? They're going to be able to make their way inside the base here. No Zealot warp in, and that is a huge loss. Photon cannons there. Zealots are now finally warping in here, as the Zerglings will be able to get inside. Alright, Zerglings are inside. The Zealots are now trying to clean them up. It looks like they will be able to do exactly that. The Zealots have that weapons upgrade and have been able to slice through many of those units, as we now see a whole bunch of... I'm not quite sure. It looks like roaches. They're now falling. There you go. Oh, that would have been a beautiful engagement if the force fields could go down. The infestors are a little bit slower. There is a fungal growth, but it will only hit the shields of units. But the prismatic alignment is on. Vipers now being brought over. This is going to be huge. Void Rays and Colossus being pulled through as well. As you can see, the Colossus are breaking down the force field. Also, what is this? Blinding Cloud. The Colossus only having a range of 1 there. But this engagement is so far going to Has. He is killing off all of the units, as all the units are now in full retreat. We are near back to maximum supply, though, by AK, but 68 supply of that is in roaches. And 190 versus 171, that is the exact battle that Has needed to even up this series. And if he can get another engagement like that, he could come out with the victory. Alright, Has being extremely careful in setting up additional bases. We also see a mothership core being brought over. A very smart investment here at the 3 o'clock location to make sure he can use that photon overcharge and protect this nexus. You can see perhaps a couple more pylons will be coming in. This Protoss Death Ball, level 3 weapons upgrade nearing completion, Psystorm coming in as well, and the upgrades are really what we're talking about here. Level 3 upgrades on all of the ground units compared to only level 2 missile upgrades, soon to be level 3. We can see that Broodlords will be coming in, but it may be too little, too late, and I don't actually understand the Broodlord switch. Broodlords will just completely melt to the number of Void Rays that we already have on the field, especially when those Void Rays are upgraded to 0. 18 damage or 36 damage a second against those units, as we now see a massive Roach army pushing their way in. Alright, we can see Zealots are trying to reinforce here. Archons are here as well. but this is really where it's at. Roaches and Hydralisks now making their way in, attempting to take down the pylons. The problem here is that those Roaches have been able to pick off the Zealots even before they warp in efficiently. Stalkers now coming in, level 1 weapon or armor upgrades now finally coming in as the Stalkers without blink, unable to move and give chase. Meanwhile, it looks as though the Void Ray army is making its way over. Still has the advantage, and he also has the superior bank at this point, as he should be able to bring the battle over. Now, when attacking a main base like this, you can see there's not many mineral patches here, so the economy of Has is really not that hurt. Also, many of the production buildings are still operational, so this has been a very, very heavy hit or heavy loss for AK. AK is falling behind, drones are being transferred, but losing this base was a very big loss. Zealots now making their way over, not quite sure why, as without creep, this entire base would get taken down in a moment's notice, or after a couple moments notice anyways. Infestors now being brought over here. Are we going to see any use? Look, there goes another Spine Crawler, as one more Spine Crawler may fall. Coming back around. Drones still mining away. This Protoss Deathball now bringing over some High Templars, and the High Templar drop for Psystorm into Archons is exactly what Has needs to do. A small tactical surgical strike. Both teams have been massing all of their units into one giant ball, and I cannot think of a better way to kill off a lot of units than this. Here we go. High Templars are going to be dropping in. There you go. There's a Psystorm. There's a Psystorm. Are you going to merge into an Archon? It looks as though, how many kills were there? I can't tell, because it is now currently a merging Archon, as the drones are now being brought back over. This is actually a rather silly move. You are merging yourself right next to an Archon, and that Archon now has 11, 12 kills, 13 kills, 14 kills, and still growing. Meanwhile, Zealots now warping inside, gonna go ahead and take down the Hydralisk then. This Archon already up to 16 kills and growing, as it is now going after the Roaches. The Roach probably not the best target. Hydralisk would have been better in order to take down, as the Zealots now getting cleaned up. But the Harvester count 69 to 55. This base losing many of its workers, really feeling the heat. Infestors now backing away. There's a fungal growth. There's a couple of infested Terrans to play with. That's not going to work out all too well, as all those units are now backing off. Has now coming over, and it looks like it will be taking down this hatchery before any real source of minerals will be coming back in and mining. There's another Psystorm drop. Beautifully done. So many drones lost there. And we are now sitting at 59 drones after some of them were replaced. Here we go. We see this again. Are we going to see Psystorm? Yes, we are. So many drones lost again. And an Archon now merging onto the field. Broodlords dropping off the kids to take down this Archon before it makes its way out. And with the introduction of the Broodlords, we now see level 3 air weapons upgrades. The number of Void Rays is going to be key in this battle. We already see 6 Void Rays, and we are now adding Tempest. Tempest, the perfect counter. It actually feels like I'm casting Heart of the Swarm once more, and this is so entertaining to see from the TESL, the players using the new units, the Vipers, the Tempest, Oracles, Mothership Core. You know, this has just been an absolute pleasure. We only haven't seen, well, we've seen a couple of Mutalisks, but the Vipers could pull over some of this. There is some infested Terrans. Vipers should be backing off. We're not quite sure why they're running in there. And the Viper is an armored biological unit, not taking additional damage from Phoenixes. All right, here are those Tempests. The Tempests do deal 95 damage per attack against massive air units. That they are a beautiful anti-capital ship. The Broodlords taking 95 damage per shot. That is absolutely huge, especially when you consider how strong their range is, outranging a Broodlord pretty significantly. Here you go. Zerglings now trying to make their way in once more. Won't be successful. Has having plenty of gas to work on. He has plenty of resources, and he can almost trade inefficiently, but he doesn't want to do that just quite yet. There's that blinding cloud once more, wanting to pull all of those units back. What are we going to be seeing here? Queens now being brought forth together. This is a very strong army. We've seen Sen use this almost same exact army to great efficiency. Can AK come out with the victory? Oh, there is the Broodlords, and the Broodlords stepped in just a bit too close. Are we going to perhaps see some feedback? Where are the Psystorms? There you go. There's a Psystorm. There's the feedback onto all of the Queens. And the Void Rays are now being brought over as well. The Colossus need to finish off all of those infested Terran. It looks like they will be able to do exactly that. The Tempest still going after the Broodlords. But what a quick turnaround this fight was. 172 supply versus 93. And has evened up the series at 2 games apiece. We are going into a final game 4 in this best of 5. I know it sounds weird, but Has came in with a 1-0 lead already. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys stay tuned for the final game.